My name is Kevin Kasha, and I'm a federal account executive. I work with customers in the government space, so it could be DoD or health institutions that are looking for additive manufacturing solutions to help with their daily problems. I was a chemical engineer, and I did about 10 years in product R&D for a small chemical company. To be a chemical engineer, it kind of covers a lot of different things. So you kind of need to know like a bit of the mechanical side, you need to know like a lot about materials, you need to know about heat and corrosion and chemicals and all those kind of things that sort of interact with each other. So chemical engineering is a good fit for it because 3D printing is used in so many different areas and in applications. We work with people in healthcare and then like defense, and then we also work with industrial machining and then food processing and kind of like really unique like university research projects. It really helps me get an understanding of I can kind of see, what you're looking at here. I feel like I'm kind of like sitting next to you, kind of working on this with you, together. Even with that background, when I was first starting out at Formlabs, I don't feel like half the questions I got asked, I had to ask for help with because some of them can be very unique and very specific. But having at least a framework of an understanding of what that customer is asking and being able to use it like, talking about like chemistry or materials or compatibility or like how long will these parts last in their system. All that information is much easier to digest if you have a technical background. So whether it's mechanical, chemical, engineering, materials, electrical, any sorts of those sort of fields where you kind of have that sort of kind of hands-on, almost like a tinkering mind, really does help with that. The people that I talk with every day are some of the smartest people out there. They are extremely, smart and capable engineers, scientists, researchers, inventors. You get to work in all sorts of different industries. So you get to work in healthcare, tech, automotive. You get to work with some really cool companies, some cutting edge companies, like new startups that have some awesome products coming out. A lot of the issues that customers face every day, and when they come to Formlabs or when they're looking at 3D printing, they have issues that need to be solved like immediately. It's not tomorrow. It's not, they need to be solved yesterday, and that's something that 3D printing can do. There's some applications that we run into where it could genuinely be costing them like millions of dollars per day, and being able to understand what that customer is going through and then act rapidly to come to a solution with them is extremely important. And then when you do get that solution for them, it's extremely rewarding knowing that you got to act fast and immediately help a customer resolve that problem. I think the difference between like being an engineer versus being kind of more in a technical sales role is that you get to interact with the customer directly, and you get to listen to what they're going through and kind of some issues that they're facing, and then you have a direct impact on being able to help them solve that. Being more on the engineering side, during that development time, like sometimes you don't get to see that, like sometimes you don't get to see what your end result is. That's the reason why I love kind of more the technical sales side. It's a mixture of both, but you get the satisfaction out of helping customers every day. Our systems are so impactful in everyday life. There's a really cool application that I was working on like a couple years ago where someone was 3D printing brains. So they'd scan someone's brain and then they basically would print it in our clear resin and kind of make all these really cool capillaries and inject like a fluorescent liquid into them to kind of highlight regions of the brain that's affected by it. And they use it in preoperative surgery to show to the patient like this is about how we're going to operate, or they teach to their students. So stuff like that where that something that you help them out with, like it's being used to educate, for helping people and potentially saving lives is really, really cool. At Formlabs, we do work with some of the best and brightest in the 3D printing space. And it's an amazing resource to kind of rely on because you can basically turn to anyone next to you and just ask them questions, and everyone provides like such like new and valuable insight that you can learn from. It also helps really drive you because you see how passionate some people are next to you, like how motivated they are, and just kind of like, just that sort of like genuine creative curiosity that everyone seems to have here, and it really kind of like lights a spark in you every day that you come to work.